It is becoming the new drug of choice for young people, heroin. And for the past few nights, Eyewitness News has been taking an exclusive in-depth look at this problem. Here's investigator Kurt Rivera with more.
Well, once hooked, getting off heroin for some only comes with death. Since 1999, U.S. government numbers show overdose deaths among young people 15 to 24 have more than doubled. Tonight in our continuing series on the rise of heroin use, one mother's story and the deep scars the drug has left behind.
Easy to get along with, good kid.
He was affectionately known as Bubba Dude, and then just Dude as he got older. Christopher Ayers loved riding quads, fishing, and music.
Pretty shy. When he was in school, had lots of friends. All the little girls liked him.
But at age 14, Chris's mother, Carrie, started to notice a change.
What was it that you noticed different?
Just his personality and how he acted with his family.
How so?
He kind of distanced himself from us.
The North High student was hanging out more with friends, spent a lot of time in his room. Carrie looked at his MySpace page online and discovered he was smoking pot and doing ecstasy.
And when you read all that, what went through your mind?
What do we do? How do we help him?
Carrie sought out her boss, whose son was a drug counselor, and got Chris in rehab.
And did you confront your son?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what happened.
At first he denied it. He said he wasn't doing anything, but I told him that I had proof that he was. And I showed him. I don't think that he thought it was a big deal at the time, just that that's what all the kids were doing.
Did he ever talk to you regretfully?
After he went to sober living, he did, yeah.
What did he tell you?
Just that he hated what he did to his family.
Despite taking classes and therapy sessions for nearly 6 months, Chris's addiction proved too much. During his junior year in high school, Carrie and Chris's stepfather, Mark, enrolled him in a private military-type school for at-risk youth in San Luis Obispo. Chris flourished. Carrie believed his life was back on track, only to realize his senior year he was hooked on heroin and even dealing drugs.
And when you were told heroin, what did you think?
Holy cow. I didn't know anything about that drug, but I knew that it was bad.
So bad that at one point, Carrie turned her own son into the sheriff's department in an attempt to do everything she could before he turned 18. But his back and forth living between his parents' and grandparents' homes meant less control for Carrie and her husband. Still, Chris managed to get his diploma, enrolled at a Bakersfield continuation school. But once again, heroin took over, and Chris was back in rehab, and this time, it appeared it was working.
He was just a different person then. We could tell he was the Christopher, from before. He was just his happy self. He was looking healthier.
So he appeared to be doing very well.
Yeah.
Chris got a job in the oil fields. He was back in church, sober and full of life, until a day at this Bakersfield hotel would change everything. It was a Friday night, February 2011, a party. Christopher relapsed. According to what Carrie was told, he was allegedly shot up by a friend that night 3 times with heroin.
And then you got a knock on a door that Saturday morning. And tell us what happened.
I didn't believe it at first. And then the coroner described a tattoo that he has, so that I knew it. Then I knew that it was him. And you just have a lot of emotions going through you about why and what you could have done differently as a parent. And it changed our lives forever.
Carrie had never spoken publicly about her son's addiction until now. She and her husband Mark hope by telling Chris's story, it might help others deal with their addictions and seek help. Now here's a preview of what you'll see tomorrow night at 10.
Thanks to a close friend, Stephen's craving to get high led him to a drug that would hook him like nothing else, heroin.
He had a spoon and a needle, and I had never shot up before. And we drew the rig. He stuck it right in my arm, shot me up.
From hockey to heroin, one son struggled with the horrors of heroin and the father trying to save his life. Tomorrow at 10.